spilled your drink? Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less than the leading value brand. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is pop music, mixed by one DJ and one can of truly hard seltzer. Truly, with just 1 gram of sugar and 16 flavors, it's music to your taste buds. No cans were harmed in the making of this ad. Except that one. Hard Seltzer Beverage Company, Boston, Mass. Please drink responsibly.
Get a great start to your new year with these great deals from Stater Brothers Markets.
Bacon lovers, head on over to our meat counter for fresh Cruise thick sliced bacon at just $3.99 a pound. And while you're there, pick up fresh USDA choice beef loin top sirloin steak, also just $3.99 a pound. And you won't want to miss this deal on fresh eggs. All Stater Brothers and Full Circle Market eggs, 12 to 18 count, are buy 2, get 1 free of equal or lesser value.
Stater Brothers Markets, quality and value you can count on.
There we go. We live. All right. Mic set up. Sorry, fellas. We live. Hawk Talk, a.k.a. pregame show. It turns pregame show tonight. National title game preview show in the studio with me, our virtual studio here. We got Percy Cooper, lover of tech, and C. Weber. What is up, fellas?
What up? What up? What's up?
Chilling. Let me see if I can get you guys. Go ahead and chat for me real quick.
Yes, test, 1,
yes,
2.
We good,
test.
we good.
1, 2, 1, 2, you got me?
We good. Sorry, fellas, for the technical difficulties. Everybody doing good tonight?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
It's game time. Biggest moment.
Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. Yeah, C-Web and I got our jerseys on that we've been talking about. But the tension tonight turns to Michigan and Kansas from Phoenix as the national title game will get underway here in just less than an hour, in about 35 minutes. So we're going to speed through the show a little bit. You know, we got a matchup breakdown. We got some predictions tonight. We're looking forward to it. First of all, if you have not read the game preview, check that out on the game preview channel. It is well written by our host of writers. So make sure you go check that out. Credit to Cheetah, C-Web, and Halliday for writing that up. But let's jump right into it, fellas. We got Michigan, we got Kansas tonight. Tech, I know this is going to be a tough one for you to bear through, but you know, happy to see Kansas back in the final. Looking to go back to back, although that team is completely new. It is still a back to back opportunity. How you feeling going into tonight?
Nervous. Michigan, man, they're a scary team right now. They're on a roll, and they're feeling hot. I mean, UCLA was on a roll, up until the Final Four, and they were able to dethrone them. And well, we're nervous at Kansas, but we're ready for the battle.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So let's jump right in, guys. We're going to go. We got some matchup previews. We're going to start off with the point guard, the starting point guard preview tonight. And C Webb is going to take that one. Walk us through the starting point guard matchup tonight, C Webb.
All right, so point guard tonight, we got Tez Green, that's your guy Tech there, and Austin Thrigston for Michigan. This is going to be an interesting battle. Green is definitely the more offensive guy. He's really going to hold the edge in a lot of different categories, but Thrigston is one of the best playmakers in the league. 5.1 assists. He's been third in the league in assists all year. He's also had around one steal per game, so you got to watch out for him. He's a tricky guy. He's going to use his athleticism, but I mean, Green is just a pure scorer. 16.3 points a game, 4 assists throughout the season. I think he's going to be the one that's going to really drive the offense for Kansas tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at our comparison, our player comparison graphic here. It's Tez Green has been really good as a freshman, C-Web. Austin Thrigston kind of has played not a backseat to this Michigan team, but more of a role guy for this Michigan Wolverines team. But Tez Green is the main scorer for this Kansas team. As you can see, he does a little bit of everything. Thrigston's going to get the edge maybe in the intangibles, maybe the playmaking and defense areas. But when it comes to scoring, Tez Green is a dynamic scorer.
He sure is. And, I mean, you say that Thrigston's the better playmaker, but Green just is surrounded by so many other guys that he doesn't have to be as much of a playmaker as Thrigston. And I really think that he's going to win this matchup. But, I mean, you can't count him out. Austin Thrigston is a sophomore. He's got more experience. He's been in the playoffs before, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah,
Thrigston, you mentioned being a sophomore. He actually, made that deep run with Memphis last year as part of that Tigers team, and transferred over to Michigan this year. So he brings that veteran mentality. He's been here before in these tournaments. Tez Green's a newcomer to it. He's a freshman. How much in a game the bright lights are on, national stage. Tez Green so far has looked pretty good and up to the test. I mean, do you expect the same from him tonight when the lights are shining the brightest?
I really do. Based on what he did last night against Oregon, Gilsack is no slouch. He's one of the best point guards in the league. And, Tez Green definitely won that matchup. I know Jar Duncan really led them last night, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So,
yeah, we'll get there for sure. So that's our point guard matchup, guys. If you notice the polls, I'm running a little test tonight. Looks like 53% have Kansas. Only 8 votes for Kansas, 7 for Michigan. So pretty close split in our audience here. We'll run a couple more polls throughout the show tonight. But that's our point guard matchup. Let's head to the shooting guard matchup. Tech's going to break that one down for us. Go ahead, Tech.
Yeah. So starting at the 2 for Kansas, we have Rob, or as I call him, Big Shot Rob. He's that player for us. Kind of reminds me of Patty Mills. I'm a Spurs fan, so reminds me of Patty Mills. He can come in and just be electrifying. A lot of times you see Rob Davis coming down the floor and just pull 3-pointers with no hesitation. And he just can create that spark. Against UK, he had 8 points, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. Against Oregon, 7 points, 5 assists. So kind of fitting very well in the starting position the last 2 games. On the other end, though, we have Willis McGee, defensive master. He definitely reminds me of Kawhi Leonard. Just kind of, I mean, he can do everything when it comes to defense, but he can also score. He can also get to the basket. This is going to be a tough matchup for us. In my opinion, McGee definitely wins this, but, Rob Davis, he texted me last night real late. He told me he was at the gym trying to get some defensive drills in, so we'll see how that pays off today.
Yeah, I mean, you see on our player comparison, I gave the edge on a lot of this to McGee. Davis definitely, I think, is the better pure shooter, a little better on the playmaking edge too, but McGee is a dynamic scorer as well as probably one of the top defenders in our league, both on and off the ball. So this Michigan team is built really on their defense, as we saw last night. Their offense struggled a little bit against UCLA early, but that defense really held it together. Then we saw McGee get a little run with the second group and really turned it on.
Right.
McGee was a big reason why they came back from that 15-point deficit.
Right. Yeah, Shane in the chat was, he was real concerned about McGee playing with the starters and kind of the rotation getting a little messed up. But I think, in the end, it really helped them being able to be that defensive presence for Michigan late.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. So McGee is a guy that we can see score. Not their main scorer, but definitely a guy that can handle the workload if needed. So Rob Davis is going to have his hands full tonight. Definitely a tough matchup for Rob Davis. But if you notice the clutch part, I gave him even because they've been really clutch in their own right. I've seen Rob Davis make some really big shots.
Yeah.
There's games where the teams were starting to come back and Rob would hit 2 in a row and just, send it back up to 10. And then Willis McGee, probably more known for his clutch defensiveness down the stretch and, getting a big steal or block. So that should be a good matchup. But Rob Davis is one of those guys that, don't leave him open late in the game. He's shown that he can make shots.
Right. And that's what we're hoping for down the stretch.
That is our shooting guard matchup. Going on to small forward. C-Web's going to take small forward as well here. We're going to move on to the small forward. Probably my favorite matchup of the night. C-Web, take it away for us.
So this is going to be a really good matchup to watch. Shane Page, starting forward, team captain for Michigan, and Brock Lee, one of the more whimsically named players in the league for Kansas.
Great name.
But in addition
one
to
of my
being
favorites,
a whimsically named player, he's definitely one of the better defensive small forwards in the league. As you can see from the graphic, Page is going to hold the edge in nearly every offensive category, but Lee is a defensive monster. He's also big on the offensive boards. So you're going to have to watch out for him in that. But Shane Page, 13.5 points a game, 3.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists. He's one of the best small forwards in the CSBA. It's going to be hard for Lee to really compete with that and to match his playmaking and his scoring ability.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Page is, we've seen him in these last few games kind of not get out to a hot start for Michigan, but he definitely has closed the games in both of those games. I say it all the time. I think Shane Page is one of the top closers that we have, just because down the stretch we see him do so many things down the stretch of the game that we're just like, what the hell has just happened? He hit a 3 and then get a block on the other end, then go down for a dunk, and it's just like that. I mean, Shane Page can turn it on and off. So, but it's going to be important for him, I think, tonight against Kansas to get off to a good start because, they had to battle back pretty tough tonight. They're probably a little tired after the UCLA game, and now you don't want to get down to this Kansas team because Kansas has proved, they beat Kentucky by 20. They beat Oregon by 20 or 15. They beat Oregon by 20. So you don't want to get down to them because they just seem like their leads just grow.
No, you don't want to get down to Kansas, but you're right. Shane Page is one of the best closers we have. It was definitely evidence last night. They were down 15 to UCLA early, and he just kept chugging away. And in the third and fourth quarter, it was Shane Page took over, ended up player of the game. And I'm going to throw something at you. He has a 169 efficiency rating for the season, which really it plays into what you're saying. He may not always get off to the quickest start, but he is a closer and he is a gamer, and he's going to hit clutch shots and clutch free throws down the stretch for you.
Yeah, and then we turn to Brock Lee on the other side. Lee's a guy that, I think Tech has been trying to get involved a little more throughout the season, but he's really known for his defense. Lee is a guy that Tech loves to put on their best offensive player, and he's doing it again tonight going to Shane Page. We saw him do it with Mike Coco. He moved Lee to shooting guard, and Lee did a phenomenal job. And now he's going to go up against Shane Page. So Lee has been that defensive stopper for them. But he's also, he can score too. I mean, he had double-digit points last night. So this is a guy that can score for them. So we're going to see. Brock Lee's a very talented player, as well as having probably one of the best names in the league. So yeah, I'm excited to see that matchup tonight. We'll definitely be watching that the entire night. Moving on to power forward, Percy's going to make an appearance here for power forwards. Percy, take it away with our power forward matchup.
Yeah, man. Tonight we got a really good power forward matchup. We got Michael Scarn versus what is his name? Ali Dio.
Yeah, Ali Dio.
Yeah, man. Those are both some killers, man. Scarn came off the bench for most of the season, and then he hit the gym, and all of a sudden, man, he been starting, and he's been a real big reason why Kansas has been advancing in this tournament, man. He's had a couple of really good games, and I mean he's just coming to big.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
go ahead.
good. Yeah, I mean, Scarn's a guy that has proved to be worrisome for a lot of teams just because of his stretchability. Against Kentucky, they couldn't guard Scarn because how far he could stretch you. He presents a problem. That inside-out center, you know that far well. It's, your guy is the same exact arc. So when you can put a guy at power forward that can stretch you out and still play a little inside, you're going to cause some matchup issues. But I think he might have one of his best matchups tonight against Ali Dio. That's a really athletic guy that can stretch you out and guard. He's going to be undersized. Scarn's taller than Ali Dio, but Ali Dio is tough, man, and he can stretch you out just as well. So that's going to be a big matchup as well. I'd like to see Kansas maybe play off him inside a little bit, but Scarn's another guy that's really going to have to be a factor in this game.
Yeah, man, he's out there getting rebounds and hitting threes, and I mean, like you said, he's gonna have his hands full with Ali Dio, but I mean, hey, it's gonna be. I feel like it's an even matchup. I feel like both of those guys do different things well, and so I think that it's just gonna come down to who can lock the other one down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both of them are going to do similar things, although Scarn does have the about 2 inch difference on Dio, so should be a pretty good matchup. Scarn's definitely an oversized power forward, and Dio's a little undersized, but they present a lot of pretty similar skill sets. So should be interesting to see the power forward matchup tonight. We got a poll going in there, Lee versus Page tonight. That should be the matchup of the night. Let's head over to the center spot. We'll look at our last starting matchup of the night. Tech's going to take the centers away. Go ahead, Tech.
Yeah. So starting off with Macy Pretchell. Macy Pretchell against Oregon State, 16 points, 13 boards, just a monster game, 7 for 7 from the field. Just an outstanding efficiency game against Oregon in the Elite Eight. And then against UCLA, a little bit of a quieter game, 7 points, 5 boards, but I mean, still a contributor. When you look at it, Macy Pretchell was a big name coming into season 2. And then you kind of had Shane Page and McGee take over the offense for Michigan. And Pretchell has kind of become more of a role player now. But that fits him well. He's doing it and getting those points, getting those rebounds just like they need. So that's going to be an awesome matchup here. And then Jar on the other end for Kansas. He's had a chip on his shoulder. You've probably seen him say it in league chat. He feels that he got snubbed for the All-Star game, and he's really been on a mission to just hurt every center he sees or goes up against. And he had a big game against Oregon. He had 18 points, 14 boards, and 8-11 from the field. Just an awesome game. He's been helping lead us, to this point, and we're going to definitely lean on him tonight.
Yeah, Jar. You mentioned Jar playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think he'd rather have a championship than an All-Star bid. So we'll see if he could do that tonight. Seeing this graphic is covering the entire season. If this is covering the last maybe 3 weeks, this looks a little different. I think Pretchell has been on the rise for sure for Michigan. Most of the season we mentioned Pretchell being that rebounder defender. The offense from Pretchell is there now. It's getting there, and now he's posting massive double numbers. So somebody in chat said this the matchup of the night. 877 said that. I might agree. Jar Duncan is the guy on this Kansas team. You guys run Jar Duncan and Tez Green. That is your bread and butter. And if Pretchell can do his job and stop Jar Duncan, it's gonna go a long way. And right. If Michigan's gonna win tonight, that's gonna have to happen. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely think that Pretchell's on the rise. But like you said, Jar Duncan is on a mission. Right now, I don't see anybody that can stop him.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, the last 3 weeks, Pretchell has just been dominating. But the other thing too is that he's a role player now that McGee and Shane Page, really take over the offense. So we'll see how they use him tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So that's our center matchup. Going on to you guys got a little preview there of what I was going to do. Let's go on to C-Web. Give me somebody in this game tonight. Actually, we got one more. I don't have a graphic for it, but Percy's going to cover the bench. The bench is a whole aspect. Percy, who has the better bench? And we've seen so many times in this tournament, in these games, that the bench plays a huge role. What is your analysis on the bench tonight? And how's that going to play out?
Man, honestly, both teams have amazing benches. I mean, as great as their starters are, I mean, the benches are just as good. For Kansas, you got Josiah Weber. He's only played 4 games this year, but he's averaging 8 points and 7 rebounds in those 4 games since he's came in. I mean, he's been playing amazing off the bench as a backup center. You got Dustin Allman III, a backup shooting guard for Kansas, who has been coming up big for them all year. He's had a lot of games where he's, made some big baskets, had some good quarters, to keep him in the game. And I really enjoy his play. And, ever since Kansas has Rob Davis starting, they have Dante Silver on the bench, which a guy who would be starting at most schools, in the league. And this guy is comes up big off the bench, and he does his job on defense. He scores a couple baskets. I mean, Kansas just has a really good group of guys coming off their bench, and for Michigan, I mean, they got Morgan Freeman, the backup center, averaging 7 points, 4 rebounds a game. Woodridge is one of the best power forwards in the league, and he's coming off the bench, just like Weber said earlier. They got Debo Johnson. Me and my brother were calling the game. Debo took over the game. He was going off, and he could do that at any moment. So, I mean, like I said, both benches, I would call it even.
Yeah, the benches are terrific for both teams, so it's just why they're here, honestly. So, you mentioned a guy like Weber. Weber played a huge role in that Kentucky game off the bench, leading them to victory. And then you see a guy like Woolridge and Debo, and they got talent over there at Michigan off the bench. A guy that I think that we didn't mention is Dante Silver for Kansas. He's going to come in and play that secondary sharpshooter role after Rob Davis goes in. So Kansas rotates those sharpshooters in, and both of them get hit. So the benches are going to be, they're going to get their minutes tonight, and maybe this game comes down to which bench is better. So definitely something that we needed to cover, and an interesting one at that. So let's go to C-Web. Take it away and talk about an X factor in this game. Someone you think that it's going to make a difference that maybe we don't expect.
So, Percy just touched on it a little bit, but the guy that I am really watching is Brian Woolridge. This guy's a starter on almost any other team. He's, I just had it up. He's over 11 points and 8 boards a game, he's had 11 points and 8 boards last night, going 4 for 5. And between him and Freeman, they're coming off the bench averaging over 15 points a game, which I really think that's going to be the X factor, is having Woolridge on the team, being able to back up Ali Dio the way that he does.
Yeah, I think Michigan's bench was the reason why they beat UCLA last night for sure. We'll see if they could do that again against Kansas tonight. Tech, maybe an X factor in this game.
Yeah, I think Shane Page is going to be the X factor for Michigan. I just think that if he gets started early, and like we touched on earlier, we know that he hasn't been a starter or got hot early. I think if he gets hot early, then it's going to be a very long game for Kansas. Yeah,
Shane Page hasn't, in this tournament we talked about, it hasn't needed really to get hot early, but definitely a closer. But if he could put together 32 minutes of how he's been playing,
right,
that could be really scary. So Broccoli's up for the challenge. We've seen him do it before. Obviously, that was my matchup of the night. Percy, one X factor for tonight. You're muted.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
My X factor is actually going to be the benches.
Yeah.
Whatever, like you said earlier, whatever bench comes up bigger tonight, I think that's going to be the key to winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, somebody made me laugh. C-Web looked like a wax figure because he doesn't move. That's pretty good. All right. Anyway, yeah, I mean, those are all really good X factors. Pretzel's probably going to be one guarding Jar Duncan. But somebody's going to step up tonight that we don't expect. It happens every game. We'll have to see who that is. Morgan Freeman, is it Dante Silver, who had a really good game last night? So we'll see. But right now we're going to go to prediction time. Percy, let's start with you. Give me your prediction tonight, and who do you think is going to win and why?
Man, I think I'll start off to say it's going to be an amazing game. I think everyone in the league knows that I'm biased, and I'm going to go with my broski at Kansas. But like I said, it's going to be a tough game. They're going to have to step it up big tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the game's going to be back and forth. We've seen a double overtime game in this. We've seen a couple buzzer beaters. Don't be surprised if this game comes down to the last minute. I don't know how much more all of our hearts can take it, especially these coaches, but it's the last game of the year, guys. So I'm not going to make Tech pick because that would just be unfair, knowing that he's probably already going to pick his Kansas Jayhawks. So we'll go on to C. Weber, and give me your pick for tonight. Who's going to win and why?
Well, I said it in the matchup preview. I'll say it again. My pick is Kansas. I think it's going to be a close game. I definitely, I obviously can't count Michigan out. It's going to be offense against defense. Kansas is going to be pouring it on offense, and Michigan is going to have to answer on defense. And I think it's going to come down to that one possession. We may even see an overtime situation because these two teams really are, kind of very opposed in the way that they approach the game. So, but that's my feeling. 83-80 was what I said in the preview, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Yeah, I think it's a really good prediction as well. So I mean, the panel's definitely on Kansas. I'm going to be the outlier here, and I'm going to pick Michigan tonight. Playing in the Big Ten, I know how good Michigan's been. Kansas is phenomenal, guys. They're really good. Michigan is tough, and I think last night they figured out that they can't start slow. So look for them to get off to a quick start. I think it's going to be back and forth. But maybe Shane Page closes it out again. We'll see, though. I think it's going to be an excellent game. I think it's going to be really close. I'm going to pick the Michigan Wolverines in this one. But I would not be surprised if either team won that, of course. But, it's tough. It's tough. So this late in the season, obviously, the two best teams are here. They fought hard for the whole season, the preseason, 8 weeks, through the tournament, through the conference tournament, and through the NCAA tournament. It's been a long season, but we're at the end of season 2, guys. It all culminates tonight with Michigan and Kansas. Wired asked Tech, how does he feel his chances are tonight? You can answer that if you want to.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly feel like it's a coin toss up. I think the real determining factor is going to be how both teams shoot from beyond the arc. And I think whoever wins that is going to win the game. So hopefully we come out shooting hot, but they're shooters as well. So I personally think whoever shoots better from the 3-point line is going to win.
Yeah, there's definitely some things that we need to look at. Rebounding is going to be a big one. Shooting is going to be big. I think that Kansas has the advantage in the rebounds. I think they could be pretty even in shooting. Michigan does look to attack, and they like to kick. So if they shoot, like Tech said, if they're hot, then it could be a long night for Kansas. But if they're cold, it could be a long night for Michigan. So, but we'll find out, guys, in 12 minutes now. National title game is here. Michigan, Kansas. That'll be streamed on Wired's channel, so look for that announcement here in about 10 minutes. Guys, appreciate you guys on the panel. Short show today, but we're all excited to get to the national title game. So we're going to head out of here, and we're going to let you guys think about it. If you haven't read the matchup preview, go read the matchup preview now. You got 10 minutes. Make sure you go read it. Appreciate the guys that have put the work in to read or to write those